You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about Jiu-Jitsu. I'm your host, Lamar Smith. In today's episode, my guest is a 3-stripe brown belt who also trains at H2O Martial Arts, located in Oak Park, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Chastain.
How you doing, man? Proud of you for finally doing this, bro. I'm geeked.
And I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
I'm sounding all professional and stuff.
Got to, man. Got to. So let's just get the ball rolling, man. Let's give the people what they here for, man. What got you into jiu-jitsu? Let's start with that.
I mean, honestly, it was no real one thing. So I mean, I've always been a fan of sports in general, but the latter part of my life, after I got out of high school and stuff and stopped playing like organized sports, I got more into combat sports and of course MMA, UFC, and whatnot. And a couple of the homies that I grew up with, they did MMA and jiu-jitsu and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of always around it, but around it at a distance. I had always thought about it, but never really pulled the trigger on it. And one of our mutual friends, one of our mutual brothers, I'm sure you're probably gonna have on the show at some point.
Of course.
Adam.
Yep.
He had been in it for a long time since we got out of high school, more or less, and he had been to a couple schools, and he had told me in 2015 one of the people he made some of the strongest connections with at one of the schools was opening his own gym, and that just happened to end up being H2 Martial Arts with our instructor and big homie Zach. And shit, man, the rest has been history since then.
Right. So
yeah.
H2O has been your first and only school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
I didn't really have it. Somebody ain't put their phone on silent.
Yeah, I know, right? So professional. So professional.
Yeah, but no, like once Zach opened a school, it kind of like it took that last little bit that most people need to start doing something. It took that last excuse away that I don't know of any gym or anything like that. Ain't nothing closed, and it was like, yeah, it's right around the block, just a couple miles from the house, and my best friend is. Best friend brother is going there, and he's super vouching for the instructor as being one of his homies. I was like, all right, whatever.
Definitely.
Yeah, you can call me an H2O original. I'm the only one left from the original set of white belts.
That's crazy.
It is. I mean, yeah, John still, he just started coming back, so technically, he's part of the originals, but I mean, life happens. He's been in and out, and, so I kind of look at it as, yeah, I'm the last of the originals.
Mm. So, from your time you started training to now being a brown belt, and then we all know next year you will be testing for your black belt. It's
I hope it works that way.
Oh no, it's gonna happen that way. We speaking that to existence. But
I get it, but you never know what life happens at you, man. What's gonna throw at you? So
that's true.
Take it day by day, class by class, roll by roll.
Exactly. But what's been your most difficult rank?
The answer is twofold. Because obviously everybody struggles at white belt,
Mm-hmm.
But when I started, it was everybody was a white belt, so it's kind of like we only had Zach and Adam to learn from. So it's like we were all. I mean, it's the same problem that everybody runs in with at every school. Is like you all train the same thing, so it's hard to get your stuff off and see how the stuff actually works against somebody. But I think white belt, just because it's so foreign and you got to learn everything. You got to learn how to move on the ground. You got to learn how to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. You got to learn the difference between being in danger and something just hurting. And so I would say white belt, but I'd say once you got past that and you actually started learning jiu-jitsu, and it started becoming, understanding it. I probably have to say my purple belt, because at that time, especially for me.
All right, so sorry about that. I had a little technical difficulties, but we're back. So now, what was you saying?
So I was saying at purple belt, for me, I think it would honestly be the true hardest, because at this point, you already have, an understanding of how to move and concepts, and you know jujitsu. Like the saying is, and like Zach says all the time, it's like by the time you're a purple belt, you've seen all the techniques, or at least the majority of them, and you have a basic understanding.
Right.
At that time, though, at the gym, we started getting people around my rank and just more bodies, and you had got there, and then Coleman was there, and then Zach's son, little Zach, was there, and it all of y'all pushed me, because I won't say that I had got comfortable, because I was like the only high rank there, even though purple belt, whatever, high rank. Some people say it is, some people say it isn't. But I was the only purple belt there. Adam was off doing his thing, so he wasn't as consistent as he would like to have been. And,
right.
I had people like Zach, who was uber athletic with a wrestling background, and Coleman, who was an MMA fighter, really strong, really heavy with a wrestling background, and had you coming up with you jiu-jitsu starting to open for you and see things, and a couple of the other guys were there. I mean, Eric Diaz, our boy Cleo, like Travis, or there were so many different people that went at jiu-jitsu so many different ways, and it was hard, because the things that I had to learn, that just because I was successful with one thing here with someone else, it's not going to be successful over here. So like I struggled to figure out jiu-jitsu, have it open up more for me. I struggled how to change how I rolled with someone. It just, I don't know. I think where white belt was probably the most physically demanding, I think purple belt was the most mentally demanding.
Yes, man. 100%, 100% on that one, man. Because
like what you want to do, depending on who you're with. It's just sometimes you can't get that off, and you can't figure out why you can't get it off.
It's just that refinement, man.
Yeah.
Cause like you said, by the time you hit purple, you kind of have a big general idea of what techniques you're gonna go for, what techniques you're gonna hunt, and everything else. It's just like, okay, now we have to get to that moment where we have to set this up. And it's been mentally daunting from for me, for going from purple to brown to like really trying to kick that up, and like I have to start thinking more like a brown belt. So it's just been like, man, it's been a mental, like a very, very like mental struggle.
I mean, and the funny thing about it is, saying that is, with you just recently becoming a brown belt, I remember where I was at then. You still kind of are thinking like you're still a purple belt.
Yes.
You haven't. There's at some point. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's going to be different for everybody. For me, it's been within this year. Is spotty as if I've been in the gym because of how bad this year has been for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's been within this year where like it's hard to describe, but everybody knows it when you start talking about it once it happens to them. Yeah. It's like like I leveled up on a character or something. It's like I didn't do any particular thing, but like all of a sudden my eyes just opened up more, my mind opened up more, and I see things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like where I went from at purple belt, and even after I got my brown belt for a little bit, it was always stuck in like, all right, I need to go here to do this, to put that there to get this submission.
Right.
And now it's like, all right, well, I know, strip all the extra BS away. I know what I need to finish this type of submission.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need it to be exactly there. I just need this and this.
Right.
And I can figure out a way to get it that seems awkward as hell. And it's like how when we were white belts and we would see Zach, or when we would have Master Joe in, or people from other schools that were teaching and doing seminars, and it would watching stuff on, competitions, and you'd be looking at them like, damn, these motherfuckers are wizards.
Man.
Would never have thought of that. And now it's like I'm at that spot where like I'm getting those same reactions from Matt and Ray and some of the younger guys, and it's like you realize like, all right, I'm not really doing anything special. It's basics. You're just finally getting to the point where you're able to strip away all the fat and fluff, and yeah, it's amazing. It's a hard thing to describe for something so simple.
Yeah, and I think about that a lot too, because especially when I was like what 2-stripe blue belt when like I guess you want to say officially became like an assistant instructor at the school, which alongside with you, and we had those moments where we were like we were teaching more classes, and now us being literally the highest 2 ranked people in the school, which still blows my mind. And it's like I can't help but get that happy feeling when we'll work a technique, or we'll examine something and we break it down to like Ray and Matt and all of them, and you just see their minds just explode, and they be like, oh my god, I could have never saw that. But it's like, it's there. But yeah, it's just like a crazy feeling you get, because like we were once in that spot. Yeah, like you said, looking at all the guest teachers, Master Joe Mawera, Grandmaster Mansoor, and it's like, man, we watching these dudes move and just do some unlike to us unbelievable stuff, and now we're almost in that realm where it's like, yeah, we're putting on wizards hats, like we're showing people like, man, I would have never thought that, or like, hey, if you shift here, or if you put an arm near, like, hey, if they're this, do that, and it's like, yeah, it's a crazy feeling, man.
We leveling up at Hogwarts, homie.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like I said, we are remembering. It's a trip to remember back and still be able to remember how it was at almost each belt and how you see it now, and it's like, man. I'm in awe a lot. Like, and like people, when you talk, and I know you talk to people about jiu-jitsu, like everybody who does jiu-jitsu talks to people about doing jiu-jitsu and jiu-jitsu in general.
Of course.
And it's just like, people don't get it. Like, most people you talk to, they don't get it. Like, people want to, say whatever they say, and, maybe they want to make fun of it at times, saying, like, everybody does jiu-jitsu, they treat it like it's a lifestyle. Like, it is.
It is.
I have never found a person who does jiu-jitsu, like, really does jiu-jitsu, and something that they're going to be doing forever, to where, like, they're not in love with it. Like, they just do it like, yeah, it's something to do. No, I don't know anybody like that.
Right.
Like, it's like once you hit a certain point, it's past the point of you just liking to do it, or it's something to do. It's like, this has now became part of you.
Yeah. Definitely.
And it's through the struggle. It's through the struggle. Like, have the most shit days ever. You get off from work and you're like, fuck it, I don't even want to go to jiu-jitsu. I don't want to do shit. but you somehow drag yourself there out, out of discipline and repetition over years, and by the time class is over, you don't want to go home.
Yeah.
Your mood is completely different. You
Mm-hmm.
walked in that bitch slow and grumpy and grouchy and fuck this shit. I'm gonna do the traditional. I'm a purple belt or higher. I don't gotta do warm up shit, and just make it on the mat when they start doing techniques. And by the end of the day, it's smiles, ready to go home, and you're like, all right, I'm good.
Like
It's therapy.
Man, because that was gonna be like that. Like you literally like touched on like my next two questions. Because like we brothers, man. We've grown close since both our times at H2O, and
Absolutely.
like I know there's been moments, because I have these moments where you like you said you get off work and you like, I'm not going to class today. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And like you said, you blink and you're at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And you sitting there like, ugh, I don't want to be here. Next thing you know, you're in the gym changing clothes like, ugh, I just should go home.
Uh-huh.
That belt tie is like, all right, man, we're here now.
Especially if it's a class like, all right, yeah, especially like at our point now where it's like we've done things so many times, and it's like we're not really there. I won't say we're not there for our benefit anymore, because we absolutely are, but like our time there benefits the people under us a lot more than it benefits us.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a natural progression of jiu-jitsu, unless you're a competitor and you're doing competition classes all the time. It's a constant go, then I think that's a little bit different. But like regular classes, I think it reaches a point, unless you have a lot of color belts,
mm-hmm.
which we're starting to get to that. But like, unless you're at a school where you get a lot of color belts, you get to a point where like you're aiding people more than it's benefiting you. But fuck it, I like teaching, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I love the martial art, love love teaching.
Yeah. But like, it's one of those classes like, oh, well, we're doing self-defense today. I don't feel like getting punched. Or we're doing gi chokes. I'm like, all right, I don't want to have jiu-jitsu flu for the next 3 days. Or we're doing fucking break falls, starting with front break fall. And I'm like, I don't want, or doing fucking flows. I don't want to be thrown right now by a white belt who really doesn't know the technique, so he's going to overcompensate with strength and I'm going to fall weird.
But we do
it, man. Do it. But we do it, and by the end of the damn class, we smiles. You're off in the corner doing a roll, whether you're getting beat up or you're having a good day, and you're whatever. If you get tapped, cool. Keep going. Anybody else want to go? By that time, you're sweat drenched, and get up. Time to clean the mat, get changed, and hang around and talking bullshit for another 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's just something about it, man. It's just like, yeah, it just makes just whatever the day was. It's just like, yeah, it don't even matter anymore.
And man, it's just,
man, trust me, I
it's
know.
For the the ones I can't, I don't even say for the ones who don't understand, because most of your audience is gonna be people that does this shit. Like, granted, like, I would love for you to be big as hell to where people who don't do this shit listen to the shit and you change people to get into it, because that's kind of the goal.
Yes.
But it's so hard to describe. It really is. But I think everybody who's done jiu-jitsu and fell in love with jiu-jitsu, it's helped their life in numerous ways, and it has helped them get through tough times in their life.
Definitely.
Like,
definitely. Trust me.
That physical struggle that you go through in a role, especially if it's a hard role, someone that knows your game and they're stronger than you or bigger than you, or their body type, their stuff just fits you perfectly, so like they catch you in anything they want to. It's just it helps you work through things subconsciously that you don't realize.
Yeah.
And then once you're done, you're sitting there and you're playing the roll back in your head, and and just going through regular parts of life, and just other things don't seem as important or as big, or like, why was I sweating that so goddamn much?
Yes. Because like, you know, in the first episode I kind of touched on that. Like the one of the main reasons why I love, you know, doing jiu-jitsu so much is that particular reason. Now, especially, you know, been doing it this long, it's like when you step on those mats and, you know, you get to those moments where you're actually doing a good hard roll or whatever the case may be, you can't focus on anything else. Like, you can't let that, like, whatever the day is, whatever the month was going on, whatever, you know, personal issues, you can't let that cloud your judgment.
No.
Because you're going to get, you know, you're going to get submitted, you're going to get tapped, you're going to get killed. So, like, you have to be like, all right, as soon as that slap bump, that's it, bro. It's time to turn jiu-jitsu on.
Right.
Like,
It's just,
you have to.
Even though you're with your homies or, you know, people that you know because you're at your gym, like, it's still violence.
It's
you
still
gotta
violent.
protect yourself.
Yes.
Like,
it's definitely still violent.
Yes, we are simulating murder and dismemberment, but I mean, all it takes is for somebody to flip a switch and they try to go, and now you actually gotta go.
Yeah.
And it ain't no playing around. You gotta be able to, when it's time, get done what needs to get done.
Cause you know, for example, you know, one of our white belts, we was demonstrating something, and it was just like, all right, let's just, you know, let me help them out, fix this, fix that, and then I felt him kept, like, you know, pushing forward. So I'm like, all right, so I'm like, okay, maybe if I, like, relax and slow down and, like, not really fight, he'll get the hint that it's not an actual roll.
Now he needs to just relax.
And I'm like, okay, maybe he would pick it up. I'm like, all right, cool. I kept saying that. Okay. But he just kept pushing forward. So I was like, all right. This is like a minute in. He's not slowing down. Okay, I guess we're rolling now. So,
well, let me show you why you need to chill out, little homie.
yeah, it was like, okay, okay, here we go. Let's go. We're rolling. Let's roll. So,
like, remember, you asked for this.
Like, yeah, you asked for this. But I love it though, man. I love when we get those, you know, white belts that, you know, comes to the gym and they just show so much heart. It's like, yeah, once we get a couple good techniques in you'll be okay.
Yeah, but they come in and they got, for whatever fucking reason in life, like, they just have natural good, like, instincts.
Yeah.
Which is something crazy for jiu-jitsu, at least for me, because, like, I grew up playing, you know, organized sports, you know, football, basketball, stuff like that. It was nothing for me to realize, like, damn, you know, these people got a lot of natural talent. Because, you know, I was one of those guys that, at least with football when it came, like, I had a lot of, like, natural talent I didn't have to until I got to high school, like, little league ball, stuff like that. I really didn't have to work hard at playing football to be one of the better ones on the team.
Yeah.
And when I started doing jiu-jitsu, like, when I first started, I never thought about jiu-jitsu in that terms where, like, some people would just have natural good instincts. But, like, since I've seen a couple come through the gym, like, it just makes, I don't know, like, my brain finally accepted the fact, like, oh, yeah, you could be naturally good at this too. Like, it's a skill. It's just a different kind of skill. And then, like, you see people like Ray or Nick, Little Nick, and then, like, Kasanga and stuff like that. Like, they got so much naturally good instincts. It's baffling. And
yeah,
it's like how we've said about a couple of them. It's like, bro, like, once this shit opens up for you, you're gonna be scary.
Yeah. And I think about that too, because, you know, Ray, who will be on a future episode, like, when he got here,
that might be my favorite episode, bro.
I definitely can't wait to talk to him. But yeah, so when he got there, and, you know, he's already a super smart guy, highly intelligent, and the way that he, like, adapted and grew and just caught on so fast, man. Even as a white belt, like 1 or 2 stripes in, I'm like, dude, this dude is gonna be a problem. And he's definitely is a problem. He's definitely a problem. And I just keep telling like, dude, once you get out of your head and stop second guessing yourself, yeah. Definitely gonna have to start kicking it up on this guy. Definitely.
I mean, let him play, figure things out, and all that. But always keep in the back of their mind that it can go left.
It can definitely go left.
Ray is that guy.
Yeah, he's different, man. He's different.
He's like the only one that came through the gym, in my opinion, that was anything like that, like close to it or right around it, was Nick before he left for the service.
Yeah.
Like with his length and just his natural movements, like he would have. I mean, I'm sure he's still nice. I'm sure, jiu-jitsu is not something he's gonna stop training. He's probably still training while he's in the service and probably gonna train when he get out. But yeah, it would have been nice to see them two growing side by side since they started at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, it'd have been crazy.
Definitely. So, kind of backtrack a little bit because we kind of touched on it. Like, do you remember the moment you fell in love with?
The moment. Oh, the moment. Damn. That's a tough question to be on the spot. That's something I have to probably real think in. I could probably tell you the belt.
Okay, I'll take that.
I'm gonna say, so close in time. I want to say late blue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like late blue, almost to when I got the purple. Because at that point, with the way the gym was set up, there was a couple people that were there with me from the left from the beginning. So we constantly had our nice even rolls. There was a couple new white belts, and I wasn't the biggest for a change. There were people that were bigger than me. We had John, we had Rendell, we had a couple people that was bigger than me. Mm-hmm. And with us being a smash style school, it's like you get on top more times than not, you're gonna stay there. Mm-hmm. So like, I finally started realizing what y'all felt being under me all the time. And it sounds weird because you're asking like, when did I fall in love? And I'm talking about something that's a struggle that you think would be a pain. But being able to see how to get out from underneath people and mm-hmm. seeing what it felt like gave me that perspective to realize like, okay, it's something different. Like, and it made me understand jiu-jitsu a little bit more, which opened my eyes. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I'm almost purple belt. You're invested. You're not going anywhere. Right. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I saw what it was capable of once I was able to see the other half of it. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I would definitely have to say around, you know what? The day after my purple belt test.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The night after I got done with my purple belt test. That was the moment that I knew. I was like, yeah, I love this. I've had a big infatuation with it. I knew like, yeah, I could see myself doing this forever. Like, just playing around with the idea. But dude, when I tell you, that night after I got home and I looked at that purple belt and just thought about like how grueling that test was. Cause it was boom, it was right after COVID. So it was like, yeah, out of shape, it was bad. It was so bad. But yeah,
I remember. Man, I remember.
Yeah, it was bad. It was very, very bad. But just to think of like having you guys there and just how hard I worked to get it. Like, regardless of what was happening, like, prior to, like, I still got my ass out there and did that test. It was hard, but I did it. But that's when I was like, yeah, man, I'm in this for life. This is it, bro. I found it. Like, this I'm okay with doing this for the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah, and then, you know, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but at least for me, part of me falling in love with it was the fact of, like, yeah, it's an okay way to commit violence. Like, I could be mean and, like, choke someone, and that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like, I can go here for 3 hours and commit random acts of atrocious violence to people and not go to prison, not have a criminal record. I don't know. There's some part about that was always nice.
as sick and sadistic as it sounds, it's like, I'm
say
okay
what you
with
want,
this.
think what you wanted. That it's like I would be shocked if most people who do jujitsu, fuck that. If most people who do martial arts, if they don't feel something similar to that,
right?
Because I don't think that you could learn a martial art, which is essentially, in the rawest form, a way to defend yourself by breaking another human body.
Yeah.
Like, in its rawest form, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I think with the constant struggle in martial arts, you learn the restraint of it. So it's like, you don't have to have it. Your ego don't need to be fed, because you know that you can do that. You can go there if you need to. It's like, what's the quote? Oh man, I can't remember it offhand. You know, I can't remember exactly, but like the samurai quote where it's like, it's better to be a warrior in a time of peace than a gardener in a time of war, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like, you'd rather, okay, easier one, like the saying with the gun, like having a gun. Like, it's better to have one and not need it than need it and not have one.
Yeah.
Like stuff. Like, I'd rather know this than be able to be capable of this and never ever have to use it,
and be okay with that.
Then be a statistic, you know?
Yeah. At least, like, it's a worst case scenario situation that, we hope that we would never have to do, is actually, like, defend ourselves using any form of martial arts or weapon. But yeah, it's like, I'm happy that I have it just in case. I always have something in my, I always have something in the toolbox that, just, like I said, just for those just in case moments. But I totally agree. Totally.
Especially in your situation where, you're a husband and a father, it ain't just you got to worry about.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah, it gets
dope. You got your family training with you.
Yeah, and man, that was my main. That was like my main thing, dude. It was like, I got my daughter, got Lemira into it, and I'm like, okay, because what the funny thing about that, real quick, was when I got her into, like, when I got her into training, and I asked her, I was like, you want to start going to training? And she was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. Are you going to do this because daddy's doing it, or are you actually going to try it? But dude, when I tell you, like, watching her come to class and just flourish.
Oh, bro, I can see it. Like
catching on to everything imaginable, dude. Like,
and not just the catching on jiu-jitsu thing. It's helped her. Has helped her self-esteem and her personality, because when you used to bring her, when you used to bring her around when she was a little younger, before she started training, she'd always be a little quieter, a little bit more I guess I want to say smaller, but like presence was smaller, I guess. And now that she's been doing that, bro, like I've heard her talk more in the last like 2-3 times I've been to class than I've ever heard her talk in her entire life before.
Yeah.
And she's beating up Coleman's son, and she's out more outgoing. She's not as timid, I guess. Like you can see it in her personality. It's doing just as much for her inner self as it is for her learning the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it was just that, like, her first few, her first times coming to class, and when she, her and, Jake was playing around,
mm-hmm.
and she, she was able to, take him down, and it was that moment where she was like, oh, snap, I did that. And she was looking at me, and I'm like, you didn't do nothing wrong. You good. You good. You did right. And she was like, oh, okay.
And it's been a wrap.
Yeah, it's been a wrap. Because, like, now, it's like, she's at the, like, when she knows what time I get home, she's at the door.
I believe
Daddy,
bro.
We going to training, right? Like, yeah.
That's gotta be awesome.
It's an awesome feeling. It is such an awesome feeling. Especially, seeing her that...
cheesing, don't you?
You say what?
You be as soon as you get to the door, you be cheesing seeing her.
I'm like, yeah, that's my road. That's my road dog, man. That's my road dog.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Happy for you.
Happy. Let's see. Is there anything? Oh, you know what? This is a question I wanted to ask you, because you were a little bit more, I guess, in depth in the jiu-jitsu world than I am. But if you had the chance to roll with anybody, who would be the top 3 people that you would choose to roll with?
The top 3. That's a really good question. Considering I knew this was coming, I probably should have thought about this ahead of time. Oh, man. Okay. First name, I'm sure after I thought about this name wouldn't change.
Mm-hmm.
But Gordon Ryan. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy for me to say that, because in the beginning, when, the Danaher Death Squad was coming up and he was making his name, I was one of those that was anti Gordon Ryan.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people was. A lot of people was anti Gordon Ryan.
And it had a lot to do with the way he came off.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever, to each their own. I think couple things, the confluence of a couple things. One, I got a little older, 2, understood jiu-jitsu more, and 3, following his rise and the things he did, and coupling that with understanding jiu-jitsu more, and I realized, yeah, he really is that guy.
Yeah, he's really is that guy.
But to roll with him would be, I'd get absolutely ran through. Just absolutely through. But the lessons I would be able to learn from that role, the things that I would be able to learn and take away, I think would elevate the things that I do already, especially because I'm kind of a leg hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would take my grasping and understanding to another level. It would rise up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And just for that would be enough for the role, and getting decimated in 100 times in 5 minutes or some dumb shit that he'd do.
Right.
But definitely Gordon Ryan. Now, let me get some clarification on this.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking? You're saying your top 3 roles? Yeah. Is this just jiu-jitsu players or grapplers all together?
It's whoever. It's whoever who you would choose to roll with. If they give you the opportunity to roll with these 3 people, Like, who would they
Okay.
be?
Okay. Ooh. All right. So Gordon Ryan. God, man. So many names.
Yeah.
Like, so many freaking names. I'm gonna feel like an ass 'cause I can't remember his name offhand. Oh, God, I should have been more prepared for this question. Oh. I think it would have been dope. Hickson in his prime. Another one that would just utterly destroy. Just make me look like a white belt all over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that would, like again, everything you'd be able to learn, the how good he was, his, the streak that he says he had from competing back in the day, and at one point in time being touted as the best grappler on the planet. It's
Yeah, man, that'd be something.
I don't know. It's a toss up. I won't say it's a toss up for the last spot between two people, but fuck it. I'm gonna go left. Khabib.
Ooh.
I want to see what that feels like.
Yeah.
I want to see what that feels like. Because, like, as a person, I'm bigger than him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in a role, like, when he would get on top, the pressure he would feel, I think that would be something on the lines that I've only ever felt with Master Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Fresh or something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy, and it would be nice. It'd be interesting to feel what all these world class fighters felt.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. It'd be definitely interesting. I mean, there's a lot. It's so hard to put it down to three because there's so many people like Buchecha, Roger Gracie, fucking Eddie Bravo.
Yeah.
The
Damian
Javier
Maia.
the Damian Maia, the Mendez brothers, Gabriel Gonzaga, Jacare.
Man.
Like it's ridiculous.
So many.
Super ridiculous. That's a hard question to ask, man. I'm gonna be dwelling on that. For a while. I'm probably when I roll up tonight before bed, I'm gonna take my fucking jiu-jitsu book out on the porch with me, and I'm gonna write in that bitch thinking about this while I smoke. that's gonna be my high thoughts for the night. That's crazy, man. I mean, I would ask the question in return, but I have a feeling that everybody you ask that question is gonna ask that question.
What question?
Once you ask them that, they're gonna say they're probably gonna ask.
What about you?
Yeah, so I'll save that because you're probably gonna have to answer it 100,000 times, and it's gonna probably change depending on who else you see around and the more learning you do.
Right. Yeah.
Same with mine, but people only go. Well, I ain't gonna say only gonna hear me once because I'm gonna be a regular on this bitch, but like they gonna hear me.
they gonna hear you a couple times. They gonna hear you a couple times.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Jiu-Jitsu is amazing. I encourage everybody to try it.
Yes.
You either love it or it's not for you, and if it's not for you, that's cool. No big deal. No worries. No worries. Ain't no one who's real in jiu-jitsu gonna down you for not doing jiu-jitsu.
Nuh-uh.
Like,
because I totally agree. Like to have people, that would be eager to learn a martial art or just jiu-jitsu in general. I'm like, dude, just try it. Just try it. Because everyone obviously get the mixed conception of jiu-jitsu from like MMA and stuff like that. So seeing like jiu-jitsu in a pure form, it gets very intimidating. It gets very intimidating because I'll show like people who I've talked to about like jiu-jitsu, and then I'll show them like videos or show them techniques and stuff like that. And they be like, oh, I can't do that. I can't move like that. I'm like, hey, at one point I couldn't either.
Right, you gotta learn it. You're gonna feel like a fish out of water for quite a while at white belt, and you're gonna get beat up your entire white belt. Like that, the amount of humbling that you go through at white belt sets the tone, not just for the rest of your jiu-jitsu journey, but I think it resets the tone and recalibrates the way you look at life and go through life, because you now start to realize and have an understanding just how fragile the human body is and how easy it is to break it.
Mm-hmm.
And two, you've just been beat up all the time.
All the time.
It's like any little bit of ego you had gets beat out of you, because you realize at some point, like, I'm physically using all my strength and energy, and there's nothing I can do about it.
There's nothing. Yeah, I touched bases on that in the first episode too. Like, yeah,
like you just gotta accept it. You just have to accept it.
You have
and
to.
Then once you accept it, it's like, all right, you find a little bit of peace in that, and it's like, I don't know, that's when like being on bottom doesn't suck as much, because you're gonna be here.
Yeah, you're gonna be here for a while. Might as well get comfortable.
Learn how not to panic.
Right. This is gonna be your residency for the next 2.5 years. Right?
Apartment jiu-jitsu, ground floor.
Ground floor. Like you may get to peek out the window every now and then, but don't press your luck.
Right. You might be able to go upstairs for like for a visit and come down at the seminar, but you're gonna be back in your place.
Yes.
So this is one of the greatest things that I've ever done in my life. And then outside of football, it's been one of the things that outside of football and work, it's been one of the things that I've done the longest consecutively.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I would have found jiu-jitsu when I was a teenager, when I still had that uber competitive spirit and wanted to compete and wanted to prove that I'm better than people. And I don't know, it'd have been interesting to see that person, because like there's nothing wrong with that, and just like there's nothing wrong with the way I am now, but like now being 33 and I don't really care about competing, I don't got that drive now. I'm more into the learning and definitely the teaching of it. Mm-hmm. That's where I get all my happiness from. Like, I know we got a couple guys there that compete every once in a while, and I know you're wanting to get into competing, and we got a couple of the MMA fighters and stuff like that. They always, especially the MMA fighters, they always ask like, how come you never want to do any competitions? I'm like, well, a couple reasons. One, I don't have the competitive drive to want to sit here and start training 3 to 5 hours every day. One, I don't got the time for it. I mean, I could make the time for it. Anybody can make the time for the things they want to do. Right. But just, I don't have that burning desire to say, yeah, I'm going to go win this competition to prove that I'm such and such the best at this, such and such. And then the other thing is kind of almost equal as important is I don't want to fight guys that are that big. I'll be honest with you. I would be an ultra heavy. I'm 5'10", 270 pounds. I don't want to fight guys built like the guy you fought at your last competition.
Bro.
I don't do it. That's for where I'm at in my life, that is too much athleticism and strength that I want to deal with.
Listen.
And I got no problem admitting that. I'm a bitch. It's okay.
Listen, bro. When I tell you that tournament, bro, it's like, I was sitting here thinking to myself when I was like, you know what? I got what I deserve. I didn't go in with a clear mindset. I mean, granted, that was like kind of my goal. I didn't want to set no really high expectations for myself. To be like, I'm going to just run this. But I wanted to,
you wanted to see what it felt like. like.
Yeah, I wanted to see what it felt like, but I didn't think I was gonna get like straight like cell block 6, you know, because the funny thing was when we got there, you know, you see all these people around normal clothes, so you don't know who's competing, you don't know who's what, right?
Right.
So I'm sitting here. I think it was about almost like 10 something, and I was like, okay, you know what? We about to start about 11:30. Let me go ahead and get changed, get stretched and warmed up. So then I started seeing people start changing clothes. So I was like,
you start seeing their belts.
Start seeing belts. So I was like, okay, that's a guy's a blue, that guy's a white belt, that guy's this and this and that. And then there was one particular guy. He was sitting down. He was sitting in the bleachers with his wife and kids, whatever. I mean, you could tell he works out. You know, strong guy, stupid, humble looking guy. We kind of like talked, in passing, whatever. And when he took off his jacket and like his tattoos had muscles, I was like, oh, okay. But then I saw that blue belt. I said, oh, I was like, yes. But then I saw the other guy. The guy I actually went against, and I saw him tie that purple belt.
Like, former NFL player.
And I'm like, oh, God. This is going to be my intro. This is my first tournament. This is what it's going to be. This guy was he was 6'something, like 6'2", 6'3", 200-something pounds all muscle. Strong guy. And
still look like he can play.
Yeah, he still like he can play. And then when we started, I'm like, okay, I gotta somehow get this to the ground. Somehow, I don't know how, but I was gonna try to figure it out. But I couldn't. There's nothing I could do. Like I tried to swim under. I tried to, man, it was just like impossible. Like to get anything going. I was like, yeah, this is about to be quick.
Yeah.
But after that tournament, man, I was like, yeah, I can't compete at ultra heavy no more.
And you've been shooting right down, man. You looking slim and trim.
Man, thank you. I was like, yeah, I was like, if I'm gonna compete, I'm gonna do this the right way. So
got to. You don't end up in a situation like that.
Yeah, never again.
I mean, yeah, you're still gonna come across people who are probably gonna be built like that, but they're also gonna be smaller because you're smaller.
Right.
So to be a bit more even.
Yeah, and then yeah, I'll be able to. I guess you want to say it would be more even playing ground, but I enjoyed the experience for sure.
Absolutely, dude was a cool dude.
Oh yeah, he was a real cool dude. I talked to his instructor like a little bit after. He's like, yeah, man, look, you did an amazing job. He's tough for me to handle. I was like, yeah, he's just a purple.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, man.
Didn't you exchange information with homeboy? You should get him on the podcast.
I couldn't find him.
Damn.
I couldn't find him. Like the day after the tournament, you know what? I'm gonna ask Zayd because I think he knows the instructor, and I'm gonna ask him about it. But yeah, he's not on social media. He's not on Facebook. Yeah, he's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. I couldn't find him for anything. So, but yeah, if I can get him on the show, it'd be exciting.
Probably pop up to a tournament and just see if you see him.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that would actually be a good idea for you if you had a tournament that you're not competing, and just walk around with like a mic or whatever, just your phone, and do like on-site interviews, like with random, jiu-jitsu questions, shit. That'd be dope. You do a little like YouTube shorts, essentially.
Yeah, man. The sky's the limit, man. The sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Jiu-jitsu, man.
Jiu-jitsu. The greatness, man. But man, that is definitely today's episode. Once again, I would like to thank my guest, Mr. Brian Chastain, for blessing us with being on the first episode, man. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, I feel humbled, man. I feel definitely honored to be that. I mean, I know it's not gonna be your first episode, but your first interview, like especially with the road that we've had in jiu-jitsu, man. Like how you started, you was through another guy, and we became super close since then, and you being an integral part to my growth, and me being an integral part to your growth, through your purple and up to your brown, and it's been a trip, bro. Like I remember, like we were talking earlier, like remember how you were at white belt. I remember how you were at white belt to how you are now. It's not the same person.
Man, I don't. Yeah. I definitely don't even feel like the same person, man. From the first time.
I remember distinct times where you had that what the fuck, like the look that Matt and Ray give. Like I remember distinct times when you had that.
Oh yeah, I still get them, but yep.
Like it's been a trip to see your growth, bro. I'm hella proud of you, man.
Man, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Likewise.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy this episode, and you got to listen to our experiences, as growing together, but also in our own individual jiu-jitsu journeys. But yeah, but please go and follow our Instagram and Facebook so you can stay up to date with all our future episodes. And this has been Talk Your Jits podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live jiu-jitsu. You guys have a great day.